Hello, welcome to Breakfast Central. It's the beginning of a brand new week, and boy, we're buzzing with excitement. I've never seen Olive this excited in a long time. She's so happy. Olive, tell me about your weekend. Did you win the lottery? Because the excitement you brought and the energy into the studio this morning is off the roof, is off the charts, is popping.
That is popping heavy. Good morning.
Good morning and welcome to Breakfast Central. Hope you all had a fantastic weekend. Well, it's the beginning of a brand new week. We have a lot in store for you today. There will be reconciliation. We have so much to discuss, policies too, and insightful discussions. As always, I am Benga Aboroa.
Yes, and I'm Olive Emodi. Thank you very much, Benga. I've done the intro really for the show today, and it was you asked me how my weekend was. My weekend was good.
I saw you. You were dancing like David in church yesterday, and it's worth celebrating our mutual friend.
Yeah,
it's absolutely a good thing to give glory.
We took our twins to church. When I say our twins, I haven't given birth yet. It's my godchildren, the children of Ayomara Essie, and it was a time for celebration.
Absolutely, really. And I'm looking forward to celebrating you in different forms too.
Amen. I look forward to that as well. How was your weekend?
It was quite restful. It was nice. It was good, and I missed work, so that's why I'm quite excited this morning.
See that.
I want management to reduce our weekend if it's possible.
I agree. I second the motion.
Yeah,
it would be great for us to work 7 days a week.
Olive, this your new pattern of speaking. Is it that you stop playing?
No, because I can't.
No, you are matured
I lost
now.
My voice. So I can't really project as much.
It's giving rich auntie vibes. That's why I want to be talking like this. You know, it's giving maturity.
You know, when you lose your voice, you have to then talk really carefully because if I try to talk louder, people will then realize I've lost my voice. And I could worsen
escalate.
So I just talk in a demure, mindful, classy way.
But if you feel, I mean, you can't go on, we can replace you with General.
Eric.
No, General.
The white lion.
The brown lion. He just has to wear a wig and behave like you for a little bit. The viewers will know.
It's not brown lion I want. It's Mayokun, our director.
No, it's stomach.
Because it's very easy.
Sorry to stomach shame him. He can't walk.
Let's move away from all the trivialities and let you know that we're streaming live on YouTube. News Central TV is the platform if you want to drop a comment regarding any of the things that we're saying and discussing today. But first, let's share with you our first story, wake-up conversations, controversy trail, President Tinubu's convoy during Kaduna visit. Let's take a look at the video that's gotten people talking. Okay, the video, I believe, is at the last count. If I'm not mistaken, I did not even bother counting.
60 plus.
I did not bother.
I mean, people on social media counted. To give a conservative estimate, it was at least 60 cars in that convoy. And they said, look, is this what we're going to be paying taxes for people to buy Lexus SUVs? And those cars in the convoy, majority of them were SUVs. There's an ambulance, there's security cars and all of that. But it did bring about, and this is not the first time Nigerians are seeing this or talking about the waste in government. But in defense of the government, they will say, look, when the president, yes, according to news from netizens, they counted 98 cars.
98.
Yeah, but in defense of the presidency, all those cars don't belong to the office of the presidency. There are some maybe service chiefs and government officials. Yes, and they join the convoy. But still, I mean, it's a lot. But seeing is believing. It would be nice to put up the video.
First of all, why were they driving like maniacs? What was that driving?
It's called defensive.
Are we doing Formula
and tactical driving? Maybe they're driving like this and bandits are holding press conference in Katsina. We'll get to that story later.
Absolutely.
I mean, these are very expensive, luxurious.
And I wonder when the time will come when we look at the president's convoy and see Nigerian-made car brands that are assembled here in Nigeria.
You look at this, and you look at the state of some schools, primary healthcare facilities in the country, and you wonder what is really priority. We're not really cutting our coat to a size. And is this why you want to squeeze more money? So there's an FRSC convoy, there are police vehicles in that convoy. But I mean,
and why are they driving like hooligans?
Yeah, and there's no security threat there. You've already stopped vehicular traffic for other cars. So why are you doing all that reckless driving for?
Okay. So now to look at the details of this case and first of all, I don't understand what this bike man is doing. Later we'll be complaining about the regular Okada guys that are driving like maniacs. Because what was this rubbish? And why was it necessary?
Well, it's called show of force.
Show of force.
Yes.
With all the people who are welcoming the president.
So in case you are trying to do anything, they can jam you.
They will let you know if you do anyhow, you go see anyhow.
Exactly.
Anyway, just to mention that why Nigerians often push back on, well, interesting, whether or not there's stunt bikes and, there's a crowd here. I would say that the reason why people would often criticize shows like this, or what they would consider a show off, because this humongous convoy, they would argue, isn't absolutely necessary. Why? Because in a country where there have been some very strong, very radical changes policy-wise that have been made. That has
affected the people adversely. Yes.
Exactly, and these have affected the people. I said to someone last week, or I think it was 2 weeks ago, we're having a conversation off camera. I said, if the government is making policy changes, Nigerians will complain less if they feel like the government is also cutting costs, and the government is also working. That thing of not feeling like they're being hypocritical and that they're working alone. That the reason why a number of Nigerians complain about the seeming lavishness of the current administration is because it feels like it's only the people that have to bear the brunt.
There's a real huge disconnect. I mean, look at this SUVs. The minimum there goes for 100. Let's put it at 150 million conservative estimate. The year 2024-2025 Lexus SUVs, and these are very expensive vehicles. And you've told the people, like you rightly said, tighten your belt. But the optics are different. They live a different reality. And there's such a huge disconnect from the government and the leadership of this country. And this doesn't really mean well. There's a way you can be prudent, you can cut. Where are you going to? I mean, it's a private event. I believe it was a wedding. And then you show up with almost a battalion of aides and dignitaries.
Speaking about wedding, why do you think that, do you think there was any political undertone to the wedding that he attended?
Yeah, of course. I mean, his presence alone is a present, to put it that way, for the father of the groom. So at that level, he wouldn't attend any, if he didn't have any political meanings, or if he didn't regard the celebrant as someone that is worthy of reckoning. And this is his second visit to Kaduna since he took over as president of Nigeria.
In case you're wondering what wedding it was, it's Senator Yari, Senator Abdulaziz Yari, that's the former Zamfara state governor. His son was getting married at the Sultan Bello Mosque in Kaduna. And this wedding attracted top political leaders, traditional rulers, religious figures, and captains of industry from across the country. Ahead of the ceremony, security was, of course, tightened in Kaduna with surveillance cameras, heightened, and hotels fully booked by the guests. And you could see that on the wedding day, heavy security presence was noticed around the mosque, with restrictions placed on vehicular movement. And the president was received at the Kaduna International Airport by Governor Uba Sani, and was cheered into the city by party loyalists. You could see in that video a number of people carrying the APC flags and waving it. And these people lined the streets waving banners and chanting solidarity songs. After the ceremony, President Tinubu proceeded to the residence of late President Muhammadu Buhari's wife, late President Muhammadu Buhari, to console with his family. He described Buhari as a selfless leader whose contributions to Nigeria's unity and progress remains indelible, assuring the family of his continuous support. Now, if you can see the tweets there. Governor Basani says, "Today I have the honor of receiving His Excellency President Bola Tinubu GCFR in Kaduna State. As chief host, I accompanied Mr. President to the wedding ceremony between Nasiruddin Yari, son of Senator Abubakar Yari, who represents Zamfara West, and Safia Shehu Idris. The wedding took place at the Sultan Bello Mosque shortly after the Jumat prayers, and it was a joyous occasion that brought together leaders, friends, and well-wishers from across Nigeria. Following the wedding, I was privileged to join President Tinubu on a courtesy visit to Hajia Aisha Buhari, widow of our late former president, Muhammadu Buhari, at the family residence here in Kaduna. It was a moment of respect, solidarity, and reflection. That's what Senator Ubasani had to say about the whole.
Let's see what Nigerians are saying with regards to this. Yes, Vintage Odogu Patrick Slick.
What's his name?
Yeah, Vintage Odogu. It says, do you know what it takes to fuel these convoys, maintain them? Seeing those adult Almajiris waving APC flags tells you all you need to know. That
is the fact that he called some human beings adult Almajiris.
Mr. President just said party loyalists and faithful came out to welcome him, and you're calling them
adult Almajiri.
That's not nice. It's not a nice thing to say on a Monday morning. And he ends by saying, last, stomach infrastructure will finish. Nigerians. Patrick Sleep, ancient vintage Odogu. Certified Boy says 98 cars just to escort one man who can't even walk past without holding a railing. Meanwhile, Nigerians are trekking to work because fuel prices is like buying perfume now. If the president needs almost 100 cars to feel safe in Kaduna, doesn't that already tell you the country is finished? Lijoka Olawale says it's wrong and misleading to say all those vehicles make Tinubu's convoy. We have at least 5 governors, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, the Senate President, and some VIP who had followed the President on this visit. Let's learn to put things in proper perspective. So he has a point there, but still, I mean...
Hey, who is this next of kin that says, person will promise us security, they insecure?
Yeah. I mean, all those convoys are not, all the vehicles in the convoy are not security vehicles, so that's another point to note. Saint Onike says, the problem is with the ostentatious lifestyle of Nigerian politicians and rulers. They believe only in splendor. I saw the convoy. I also did that. I also saw that video of the FIRS boss. President and other elected officials leave large, mostly on borrowed funds, until Nigerians are ready for this conversation, no end. I mean, we need to add some austerity and prudent management into the lifestyle. I mean, he's head of Nigeria's revenue agency. You would think it was the chief of defense staff that was showing up to an office. You know, the DSS officials in tactical gear, men in suit jogging after the SUV, the way they open the door. It's a civilian appointment, and you're head of the revenue agency. I'm not saying you don't deserve security,
but you should
calm
see
down. The convoy, please calm
down. Exactly. Like, take a deep breath. So that's
and
the problem.
People are watching.
The problem is
want us to make sacrifices. Next January, the new tax regime will kick in, and the Nigerians will be further squeezed. They're also asking, like, what do we gain? Look at Lagos, for example. Drive around Lagos. Lagos continuously boasts as, you know, generating the highest revenue. But what are they using it for? The state of infrastructure is none to write home about. A major part of Lagos, the capital, Ikeja, I don't even call them potholes anymore. They are craters. You think it's Gaza. The level of crater you see, it's not even potholes.
So,
and I mean, it doesn't reflect well.
I would say that there's, of course, the ostentatious lifestyle that our Nigerian politicians often flaunt. You know, this level of wealth and really it is the audacity for me of Nigerian politicians. But I don't think it's entirely about Nigerian politicians. I think also it's a Nigerian thing that the average Nigerian has an overwhelming desire to show off. It's why things like I better pass my neighbor were named in the first place. That desire to show wealth and affluence and power and influence is why somebody who, you know, has just started their journey in life, has more money, you get a lavish car, you get the mobile police. And it's also, all you need to do to enter certain even events where you don't even have an invite. All you just need to do is appear big, look big, and then have Mopo with you.
Or have praise singers.
They'll just, exactly, just so you know what's working. So that's a challenge that we have as a people that need, it's not just the politicians, it's the regular MD of a company, the regular staff of a company. You know, somebody who's just, I always use this as a fun example. It sounds very silly and lighthearted, But it's true, even the usher at the party that is sharing food.
Oh,
You
yes.
see that
Everybody
small power.
has this sense of self-importance.
Exactly. Once you give them a little bit of authority or power, they want to wield it over everyone. So I think that it's fundamentally the average Nigerian first, then it is the Nigerian politicians.
Absolutely.
So if Nigerian politicians are asking Nigerians to cut down on their way of life, on their spending, it would be imperative that we see that being reflected as well, in their own lives as well, so
Absolutely.
that it feels balanced.
So, to our next wake-up conversation, UNICAL, University of Calabar, is in the news again as UNICAL withdraws clinical students to meet quota. Let's have a look at that circular and then we'll get back to the details. Nigerian doctor says University of Calabar withdraws clinical students to meet quota, and he's writing a letter to the Minister of Education. Dear Dr. Alausa, Minister of Education, University of Calabar reportedly admitted 700 plus students and has now allegedly withdrawn many of them in a bid to meet the medical MDCN quota. This is despite them not failing courses and having CGPA as high as 4.0. As you can read in the NGLs, this decision has evoked strong reactions of despair in students and parents. I hereby plead with our education and health leaders to kindly investigate these claims, as lives may be at stake.
Well, anyway, these are some of the reactions. Sharon Ofo says, University of Calabar admitted students more than the required quota. Now they are unjustly screening us out of various departments after we've reached the requirements with CGPA of more than 3.5. We need justice for all nursing and medicine students. This is unfair, Sharon says. Our next tweet, there have been some anonymous messages. Someone says, good day, sir. Please, UNICAL is removing students from their medical department 200 level after giving them admission and paying tuition fee. And I know two who have refused to eat since yesterday and are seriously crying and thinking of suicide. Please lend them a voice, and they're both on 4-point CGPA. Some more anonymous messages. This one says, at the University of Calabar, department admitted 700 plus students for 2024-2025 quota, far above the quota. Now, many of us are being unfairly screened out despite meeting all requirements. I personally have a CGPA of 4.03, above the cutoff, yet I was dropped. This is unjust. This is greedy. After 7 years at home, I finally entered med school at University of Calabar with an excellent CGPA. Now I'm being asked to leave under unclear circumstances. My dream of becoming a doctor is slipping away. My heart bleeds pain. Good day, Ma. We, the medical science students of the University of Calabar, need your help. We were dropped from our present department and asked to change to other departments. This is unfair as the management has no valid reason for doing such. Students and parents are wishing to take their lives. So first of all, I expect to get at this point, UNICAL should have put out a press statement. I checked X, I didn't see any social media statement. So I think at this point, if they take their university serious and they take Nigerians serious, they should put a statement to that effect. That's one. Two, if we go by the details shared by these people and we have to take it as truth, then it's a shame. And that somebody needs to take the fall for it. Somebody needs to be reprimanded, because this is a clear case of injustice. We see this happen many times in many situations where people take much more than they can handle, and at the end of the day, some other things have to suffer for it. We're not talking about eating more food than your tummy can handle here. We're talking about the lives, people's destinies, people's visions and dreams, So it's, at the end of the day, this is something that a lot of people's dreams and visions, hopes and aspirations is tied to that careless thing.
How do these things happen? If you have a quota, why didn't you stick to the quota?
Because of long truth. Before this UNICAL story, what we used to see back then would be that a number of universities would admit students. They know fully well that they are not accredited. Exactly, they're not accredited for. They would give you the impression that there's an accreditation. By your third year, you find out that you're not accredited. You now have to switch courses to another course. that has proper accreditation. Why are we so shabby?
One of the reasons this sort of things happen, and why we've seen it happen time over time, is because of a lack of consequences. If examples have been made of people that destroy the lives of people, because this has a tendency to destroy people's lives.
People talking about
imagine how
suicidal.
distraught they are, thinking suicide, people's lifelong dreams. Somebody stayed at home for 7 years, finally got admission to study medicine, and this is happening for no justifiable reason. And then you even you shouldn't even try to screen them out at this point in the first place. Why did you go above the quota? So if you're looking at the CGPO, you want to weed the weak students out, there's no methodology towards it. It's random and it's criminal. I expect the university authorities, the Minister of Education is very proactive to step in and do something about this.
And even the Nigerian Medical Association, because at the end of the day, these are potential doctors. In a country where we are complaining about a shortage of doctors, mass migration and exodus of doctors from here, the patient-to-doctor ratio as prescribed by WHO and UNICEF. Is it WHO or UNICEF? I'm not sure now.
WHO.
Is one doctor to, I think, 500 or 600 patients. We have one doctor to over 10,000. And in a country like that, our excitement should be that more doctors will be,
what's the basis
will be brought into the system.
Yes.
So
the entire, the whole stakeholders need to sit down. We need to know what's really going on there and find a solution to it, because this can't hold.
And more universities should please stop this rubbish that they do, where you're admitting people, you don't have the, what they call it, accreditation. You're then having faith.
And universities, look, your primary assignment, your primary duty is to impart knowledge on the lives of people. You're not a revenue-generating organization. And we've seen the push for people to just, make money, extort, try and get as much as people, as much as possible, without having forgotten the fundamental reasons why they're there in the first place. So it would be nice for the federal government, the Ministry of Education, and all stakeholders to urgently look at the situation with the medical students in the University of Calabar as a matter of national importance and urgency. Yes.
All right, let's take a few reactions from X and see what Nigerians are saying about that, about the UNICAL incident. When people say, "May Nigeria never happen to you," emergency lovers of Nigeria will call you names. How does it make sense for an institution to admit students knowing its limited quota, only to turn around years later after the students have suffered physically, mentally, and financially, and ask them to change their course or leave? Isn't this enough to drive someone into depression or even cause them to lose their sanity? Femi says, "I will say my mind. The problem started when school couldn't do accreditation. Instead of the public to call the school for incompetence and scamming the students, the public went ahead to call out the Tinubu government. Now, Peter Obi came on the spotlight to pay the money to run accreditation, which shouldn't be, because each department, with the help of faculty, should be able to run accreditation for their course. How come the school collected school fees for 6 years and couldn't afford to pass accreditation? This is a criminal offense to me. I'm not blaming Peter Obi for paying the accreditation, but the first step is to arrest and question the school authorities for not meeting up while other departments met up. After that one, he can pay for the accreditation." Okay. And then Aproko Doctor tweets as well, saying, "News just reaching me is that UNICAL recently screened out 600 medical students from a class of 900 just to meet MDCN quotas. Dear Dr. Tunji Alausa, many of these students have done nothing wrong. They have CGPAs above 4.0 and have not failed any courses. The reasons given, such as late JAMB regularization applications and multiple O-level sittings, issues that arose after admission, shouldn't stand. These students have invested years of their lives and significant resources into their medical education, only to be asked to change programs or leave entirely. Please, I urge our education and consent stakeholders to investigate the situation urgently. We cannot afford to lose potential doctors to administrative decisions, especially when they are performing academically. Our healthcare system needs every qualified medical graduate we can get." Exactly what I said.
What you emphasized.
Exactly. Yeah. Please look into this matter, and it adds a number of bodies. That's what our Aproko Doctor had to say about the matter. But yes, it's not a good look.
Our Bello says, "At this critical need of health workers, I believe a solution should be found to this. Those students must graduate. Nigeria needs doctors, absolutely. And Peter says, at this point, I think it's very important for necessary institutions to look into the administrative activities of University of Calabar. First, it was engineering, then dentistry, and now medicine. It seems the school is hell-bent on frustrating the students. I mean, if it happens once, twice, coincidence, but these are repeated incidences, and absolutely, I agree with you that they need to look at what's going on in the University of Calabar. You're dealing with people's lives. And you know, when you have these administrative issues and all of that, the students are always the victims, the fall guys. It's easy, okay, you take all decisions, but they always end up hurting the students more than any other party or stakeholder. Yeah.
Well, I went on YouTube. Of course, we're streaming live on YouTube, and some of our followers often drop comments reacting to the stories. Akini says the extravagant politicians have not learned anything from the Nepal debacle. He's, of course, referring to our initial conversation about the lavish entourage, as well convoy. As, you know, politicians and their way of life. And then Mokunye Chukwuemeka says, in response to Akini, he said, the politicians know Nigerians won't do anything. Just give them stomach infrastructure and they are back to supporting them. Shots fired. Anyway, our final conversation, I mean, you just suppose this particular story vis-a-vis the earlier one where we talk about the president's alleged convoy to the wedding in Kaduna. Bandit frees 40 captives and warn government against striking his cap. He grants a press release and he's speaking in Hausa. Let's listen for a few seconds and then I'll interpret. Let's play it.
And we'll translate for you in the studio.
An ba su kimanin mutum 30 can 27 ga 30 kenan. Su aka ba da an hada nawa kenan. An samu kimanin mutum 70 har da biyu. Kuma ba wani abu ba yasa aka bada su ta dalilin sasancin da aka yi. Ba wai wata barazana aka yi mu wanda suke rike da su ba. Ba ƙarfin yaƙi aka nuna ba. Alƙawalin.
So we got help, someone helped us interpret it and says what he was saying is that government is not sincere in the peace deal. They made a peace deal and they released some people, then the government came back and killed their people, including the innocent people. If the government will not uphold the deal they made in the name of God, they will go back to their former position that nobody has monopoly of violence and no life is superior to the other. That the government attack them first, and if they retaliate, they will put it out to the media that these terrorists are the ones attacking unprovoked. He said that if the government will not uphold the peace deal, they will go back to doing what they know how to do best. And you already know what they know how to do best. And that video is incredibly interesting because...
incredibly shocking.
In a country where we have security forces, armed forces, a democratic country...
Not a lawless country.
Not a banana republic where some would argue against that. That a bandit is giving press release. He has people there, and he's negotiating government, and he's warning government, saying, don't attack me.
Goodwill.
I release 40 people.
Extending the olive branch.
Then no, it's not me that they're extending.
This is not olive branch.
No, it's this olive branch that you're wearing. They'll tell you that it's the kinetic means. Non-kinetic means, I beg your pardon, that they have to employ, that you cannot win the war against insecurity.
You can't shoot your way through insecurity.
Oh, I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
It's what it is.
I'm not a security expert.
And people will argue that, look, if their purpose is to stop people from killing, then if you're going to have to make a handshake with the devil, then it's worth it at the end of the day. Because we've tried kinetic means, we've tried to shoot our way through, but it's not working. So if you could negotiate, pending when you have a permanent solution, then if it's going to save lives, you can go ahead and try those non-kinetic means. But let's take reactions from X and see what Nigerians are saying. Clement Okechukwu says, I have a genuine question. How do bandits with no barracks, air support, numbers, or even proper weapons manage to overpower an entire country's military, arguably the best land force in West Africa? I mean, we're also wondering how that happens. Bola Badiru says, on his chest about 15 magazines. Each magazine holds about 30 rounds of ammunition. If you account for the one with his AK-47. We're talking an estimate of about 500 rounds of ammunition to him. One granite, one ammunition cost as of 2022 is 1,000 naira in the black market. How does a Nigerian soldier, how many does a Nigerian soldier carry on his person at all times? Roughly 60. Food for thought there. Mufaxa says, so he said the government is attacking them, that government should leave them. What is his occupation? So government should leave them and let them carry out their operations. What we're doing...
What they are doing is not against Sharia law.
What they're, but an artist...
But an artist or anyone who sings against their religion is sentenced to death, even in court, not a jungle justice. Wow. I mean, that's a bit of a confusing one. He has a phone, a SIM card, they have his location, he does several media rounds, yet he's still walking around alive and free, Essence says. Just look at it. Human being, you are calling it. His boldness, and Minister of Defense is still alive. No official statement from our military, Air Force, even President. As for a spokesman, I know that they will tell us the bandits are just joking. Then I don't understand that tweet. But maybe we should ask you, let us know what you think about this press release granted by this bandit, talking about how he's released 40 prisoners. Again, like you said, some would say that whatever is done to achieve less killing of lives is worth it. But the argument about whether or not this non-kinetic approach is effective is an argument that I don't think will quite run out.
Yeah, me too. Just for the argument's sake, it's you're making an industry out of this. It's a business. It's going to be lucrative. If you know the government is not going to attack you, what are the motivating factors for you to drop your weapons? What job are you going to do? Because you've picked the way of violence, and that's the only way you know. But hopefully we get a statement, and we do deserve, it's not hopefully, we need the Ministry of Defense to address Nigerians with regards to this situation and the Katsina State government, because you can have bandits with very heavy military grade weapons, general purpose machine guns, AK-47s, holding press conferences. It's not a lawless state. Well,
it isn't a lawless state. Let's go on top story break, if that's a thing, to let you know what our top stories are this morning on Breakfast Central. And we'll begin this morning in Rivers State, emergency rule aftermath. Will Governor Fubara rule without interference? Question mark, that needs to be answered. Mandela's fire, shop owner apologizes to New Central's journalist over attack. He joins us this morning as well on Breakfast Central. Rabiu Kwankwaso declares interest to rejoin APC on his terms. Kwankwaso has said Kunduga youths in Borno State seek relocation and return of higher institution. The newspaper front pages will be a part of the show. Join us for all these and more.
From Abuja's influence to the shadow of his predecessor, Nyesom Wike, the stakes are high, not just for Rivers, but for Nigerian federalism. Fubara was suspended during a 6-month state of emergency declared by President Bola Tinubu amidst a bitter power tussle with his predecessor. Now reinstated, many wonder if he's a governor in title only, or someone somewhere is pressing the buttons behind the scenes. FCT Minister Nyesom Wike insists he won't interfere in Fubara's cabinet choices, but critics say the real power lies elsewhere, with his loyalists dominated the legislature and key state structures. Join us this morning for this discussion is the Honourable Commissioner for Environment in Rivers State, Honourable Tambari Sidney Gbara. A warm welcome to you, Honourable Sidney Gbara. Thanks for joining us on Breakfast Central.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, Nigeria.
Now, let's start with the return of the governor. What's the mood like in Rivers State, and how has he been welcomed? And can you also tell us about the temperament, the state of mind of Governor Siminalayi Fubara as we speak?
Well, it was very, very heartwarming for the entire youths and the people of Rivers State on Thursday, 18th, when the state of emergency and the suspension of the governor was lifted by Mr. President. We saw an unprecedented crowd of people who besieged the government house and the way to the government house. In fact, it was like a pandemonium, as I say. Though there were no crises, everywhere was peaceful, but it was full of fanfare. People came out en masse to, show gratitude to God and to equally thank the President, Mr. President, for lifting the state of emergency, because it was a horrifying period. It was a dark period. It was a time of serious retrogression for the entire Rivers people within this period, because they already had a governance that was in place, that was taking step by step, blow by blow, dishing out people's oriented projects and programs that were having very, very direct bearing to the people. People were feeling the impact from the word go, So having an abrupt stop suddenly was a source of concern to everybody in the state. Within the period, let me just chronicle a little. Just in the side of the civil servants, within the period, civil servants have never been promoted for the previous administration, let me say over 16 years or thereabout. The governor effected that and made sure that all their emoluments, all their money due them for the new position accrued over this period of time of over 16 years plus were paid to them. He ensured that the pensioners were paid their money. He ensured that the youths too were engaged properly through a partnership with the Bank of Industry, where about 5 billion naira was put in place to promote and to support small scale and medium scale businesses, in the state. I just want to mention this too. I don't want to talk about projects that has to do with brick and mortar. I just want to talk about that has direct bearing with the people. Mr. Governor has equally approved the renovation of 135 health centers across the state. And we all know that primary health care is that which has direct bearing with the people. These are the government health facilities that are in the communities. So he has done things that has touched, in fact, the area of employment. We saw him employing over 5,000 medical doctors to man these health centers, and equally employed other health workers, to ensure proper and effective healthcare management, not just taking care of the facility, but ensuring that the requirement power, were in place. So we can see that he was doing things quietly that were getting direct to the people. These are not things that you need to know a politician to benefit from. These are things you just sit down in your house and they'll come to you. Least I forget, the NOLGI, the local government employees were not left out. He ensured that this largesse and this magnanimity were equally extended to them, as well. So the people were, it was like, putting everybody in a cage, and you watch your whole time and suffer and everything going, away. So it was a dark age for Rivers people. I can put it that within the period of emergency rule, but upon the end by Mr. President, brought joy, and I can tell you that the atmosphere ever since 18 in Rivers State has been wonderful. Life has jacked back to Rivers State once more. The next day, 19th, on Friday, was when he finally arrived at Port Harcourt, and you need to see the motorcade of individuals that trawled the airport to welcome him and escorted him to the government house, where he took over governance. So it is a feeling of nostalgia for the people here, and the people are very, very happy. And I know that much is equally expected of the governor now that he has taken over. And so we are watching events through that, but it's a man that has gained the confidence of the people. And so the people have confidence in him, that he knows what to do, and he will do what he knows best for the people. Now that he's back.
Let's now take the conversation to, we hear all that you've said about the stability that has returned to the state and how the River State citizens are glad to have the emergency rule lifted. One key player in all of this is the former governor, the FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike. Would you say that he has totally relinquished control in the state, or before now we could see where he would complain or he would speak about his structure being tampered with? Would you say that he will completely relinquish control and that Governor Nyesom Fubara will be allowed to govern in the way that he deems fit?
Of course, what we are playing is politics. And you know that before the emergency rule was lifted, Mr. President gave, a room for discussions and engagements among the warring parties, meaning the governor, the State Assembly, and the FCT minister too. And so there were a lot of engagements, there were a lot of consultations, there were a lot of meetings, and finally they all agreed, they came to an agreement point, and now went to Mr. President. And I think Mr. President having, reviewed the situation, and their body language and their presentation was very, very satisfied that, yes, indeed, these people have decided to share the sword and to, work with one another for the progress of the state. And so, recently, the FCT minister was equally on air to say that he wouldn't interfere into the governance of River State by interfere with what the governor will be doing in the states.
This was said before. That the FCT minister said the same thing before, and unfortunately, there was an interference. So why is this situation different from the earlier one?
Well, I think the reason why I would say this situation is different from the earlier one is that I think maybe previously there weren't enough engagement and discussions, but I think exhaustively the both parties have sat down, and the individuals have sat down, and everybody has itemized, drawn their lines, and agreed to move on. So I think there will be mutual respect, and for the interest of River State, giving peace a chance. Because you have to give peace a chance for peace to prevail. That is why they say give peace a chance. And for the interest of the states, I think the parties have decided to give peace a chance. And I think for this time, we should be able to hold him to his words, except he proves otherwise. But I think for this time, we should be able to hold him to his words that he's going to give his necessary support to the governor, rather, instead of bringing unnecessary interference that will further truncate the governance of His Excellency Siminalayi Fubara, because that will spell doom for River State. If there are any more interferences this time around, that will spell doom for the governor, because he needs all the concentration, having lost 6 good months. And when you have a program that was already a program of governance that was already on auto drive, and it's been truncated, it's taken aback. Like a colleague said on the day he arrived in his press interview, that River State has been taking 60 years behind. So the governor needs all the concentration, all the tactics, all the articulation that he needs to ensure that if in the first place, kickstarts all the governance structure of the state, put them in proper perspective, and hit the ground running immediately without any delay. And so anybody that loves River State, anybody that wants the interest of the state to move forward should be able to, understand the fact that this governor needs all the concentration that he needs to be able to put the state forward. Because any attempt to distracts him or, through unnecessary interferences. We are not saying that the governor is far from, getting advices from elder statesmen, that will help him. That is what we need. We need advices from the FCT minister, being a former governor, on what and how to go about it to make things easy for him, but not the kind of interferences that will, truncate the activities of government, because that will smell doom for us. So we expect that the governor will run the state, free of any of such encumbrances.
Now, Honorable Fubara, the State House of Assembly resumed plenary on Friday, and they hit the ground running. They did discuss some matters concerning the state. And one of such matters was the looking at the administration of the sole administrator is 6 months in office, and they said that they will be probing that. Do you have any inklings if the governor is in support of that, or if that is one of the things his government will be looking at doing as he has resumed office?
Well, I wouldn't be able to tell if the governor will want to, spend his time on that, because like we said earlier, he needs to hit the ground running. And if we are saying he shouldn't be distracted, he himself shouldn't be the one to go and look for a distraction himself, Whatever has happened, and the state needs to move on. So, well, however, is of his own decision to know if he is going to do that with the State Assembly. Yeah, that's the position of the Assembly, and they have a right, to demand for that. Because as a people, and as Rivers people that they are, they probably must have seen a lot of things that have gone wrong, within the period of which they want to ensure that the sole administrator is brought to book or to explain, to Rivers people how that happened. So I think I will leave it for the governor and the speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly to, now that he has taken over and will resume, to sit down and look at it, look at the merits and demerits of going into, that exercise, and then they will tell us. Our own is to give them our necessary support in whatever they want to do to ensure that they do it well and in such a manner that it does not affect, the developmental programs for River State.
All right. There have also been speculations here and there about the potential of some appointments that have been made by the sole administrator, asking that the governor revisits these appointments and ensure that he maybe sets up his own personal appointment and ignore the one, or terminate the appointments made by the sole administrator. Is that a pathway that you would advise?
Yeah, I think constitutionally those appointments that were suspended by the sole administrator brought a lot of outcry by Rivers people, because we know that the mandate that was given to the sole administrator was to restore peace and not to start dabbling into constitutional issues. But however, he did that. And now that he has left and the governor has resumed power, I think he will resume tomorrow. We'll need to wait and see what the governor will do in respect to those appointments, because those people that were appointed by the sole administrator, met with a lot of outcry. But however, we'll leave it to the governor to, decide, and handle that.
Now, Honorable Fubara, local government elections were held in the absence, during the suspension of Governor Fubara. And the results that emerged gave APC an overwhelming majority in the state. Will this have any effect on Governor Fubara's plans and governance in the state moving forward, knowing that the local government areas in the state are in the hands of the opposition, APC?
Yeah, politics, party politics is on one hand, and yet we have individuals who make up this party politics. Those individuals who were elected to man the offices at the third tier of governance in Rivers State are Rivers people. And in politics, we say change is the most permanent thing in politics. Today, they are APC, and the governor is PDP. So moving forward, I think it won't be much of a problem for the governor, because he's a man that has, a very large heart to accommodate and to relate with people no matter the circumstance. He has a way of maneuvering political challenges or hurdles. So I think now that he is back, he will have an interface with the chairman, and I think they will work together despite the party differences. They will work together. After all, some of the local governments are still of PDP, so they will work together. I think it won't be of any problem for the governor. Mind you, from the beginning of this crisis, the governor said and told Nigerians that no sacrifice is too much for him to make for peace to return to Rivers State. And a lot of people thought he was just making a political statement. Maybe he was just trying to, get sentiment, from the people. But we can see that over the years, over the months, for all the activities that have gone on in Rivers State, he has been consistent and has shown this through his dominion, that it's just peace that he wants, nothing more, nothing less. And so, having demonstrated such maturity, having demonstrated such love and interest for Rivers State to move on, having demonstrated, such calmness and a rare leadership virtue of being so accommodating, I think somebody being in another political party will not be an issue for him to work with that person at all. So we are going to see a good collaboration between the states and the third tier of governance in the state, except maybe for some individuals who might decide not to, cooperate with the governor. But I don't see that happening. I see everybody putting their hands on deck to ensure that true governance and true democracy, kickstarts in Rivers State and gets to the people as soon as possible.
You sound very positive and assertive, and you're focused on a new beginning in Rivers State. Even with the majority of local government chairmen in the opposition, you still feel, they can have a compromise and a way of working forward. Next year is a penultimate year to general elections, and 2027, it's been in the political discourse for quite some time now. Do you know, because I remember during the state of emergency, and your principal spoke, he said, don't you say I look good? Do you think I'm really, he sounded quite defeated, and he sounded tired, that he sounded overwhelmed with the politicking and the drama. Do you know if your principal will be seeking re-election in 2027?
Please.
Oh, my question is this. I asked if you have any information as to whether your principal, Governor Siminalayi Fubara, will be seeking re-election in 2027. Because during the state of emergency, he spoke about his moods, his spirit not being there anymore. Not being there anymore. So do you think he will just run out this term and call it quits?
Yeah, well, I will not be able to speak for him, in respect to that, because we know that he has gone through a lot already, and what should be paramount right now is how he can kickstart, get the state back on track, and conclude his the good works he has started in Rivers State. successfully, to the glory of God. So talking about 2027 right now, for me, I think shouldn't be what should be at the front burner. What should be at the front burner is how to kickstart the governance, how to ensure that the speed to which governance was at pace in geometric progression that it was at before the emergency rule, the governance is taken to that. And then when it gets to 2027, I know that the politics of 2027 will begin next year, meaning 2026.
Are you sure it hasn't begun already? At this point,
Yes.
I think I'm inclined to believe that the politics has begun already. Honorable Siminalayi.
Well, of course. So I think when it gets to that time, the governor will be able to let us know what his next line of action will be. So I wouldn't want to dwell on that.
All right, Honorable Tambari Siminalayi, thank you for joining us this morning on Breakfast Central. Wish the Rivers people the best of governance and politics in this season.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, let's now share what's coming up next on Breakfast Central. Coming up next on Breakfast Central, Mandela's assault. We have the shop owner who you can see on this clip joining us. And Kwankwaso declares interest in APC return, giving his own terms and conditions. Digital skills for Kaida Sabo community is a package we have for you. Stay with us.
Welcome back to Breakfast Central. Without turning our attention to the aftermath of the devastating fire at Mandela's Market in Lagos Island and a troubling incident that unfolded during our coverage. As our News Central team reported live from the scene, one of our journalists, Israel Eforobo, was shoved aside by a shop owner, an incident that has raised wide concerns about the safety of journalists who come attack during while carrying out their course of duties.
The individual has since issued a public apology saying he was not a thug as described in the attack, but a shop owner who was devastated by the loss of goods in his shop destroyed by the fire incident. Let's take a look now at the video of the apology that he put out, and when we come back, we'll then connect with the man in question and have a conversation with him.
About me assaulting the journalists that came for the fire outbreak at Mandela's, Central Plaza, Mandela's. Please, I'm here to apologize to Nigerians, to the journalists that I push. I was asking him to leave here, that we don't need them here. We don't need, what we need is the fire service to come and help us. Our money, everything is going down. I was one of the victims that fateful night. I was one of the victims. I was already home. They called me that Plaza is on fire. I have to go back to the market. Before getting to the shop, the Plaza have already fallen down. Everything I have is gone, like gone. So when I came out, saw the journalists trying to make their speech, I was asking him, leave this place.
And that man who you've just seen his apology, who you also saw earlier in the video showing Israel, he's live with us virtually. He is a shop owner in Mandelas, and his name is Mr. Chinedu Simon. Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning.
All right.
Good morning.
Good morning. We've seen your apology. It's a much longer video. Why was it important to you to apologize? Was it, I mean, because we did call you out even on this show. Was it important to you to apologize because, you know, you genuinely felt like it was a wrong move and you wish you had done differently? Or was it because of the public outcry and backlash?
No, why I did the video I did is not about anything. It's about, I know what happened that night. I was not at my right sense that night. I was not at my right sense that night. After seeing everything I have go down, I was not at my right sense that night. That's what happened.
All right. Okay.
Everything I have, everything I have is gone.
And
it's gone.
We also feel your pain. I know that no one can completely understand how, you know, how bad things were if we're not personally involved. We saw the fires, but we can't feel the pain as much as the people who also lost loved ones and lost their properties in the fire. So once again, sorry about the fire. We've extended our heartfelt condolences to the bereaved from the fire as well as those who lost properties. But now let's get back to that night. You said you were not around. How did you get to find out about the fire?
Okay, my colleague called me that, where am I? Am I close in the market? He called me. I was already home already. I have to dress up again, start going to the market. I was already home that fateful night. I was home already. You understand? So now when he called me, said that Omo Plaza is on fire, where I am like this. I said, Omo, at the house, I'm in the house. He said, start coming to the market. Plaza is on fire. Come and carry your stuffs. Come and open the shop and carry your stuffs. The Plaza is on fire. So before me getting to my two, because I stay here in Agor, before me getting to my two, enter the train and start going to the market. Before getting to the market, the plaza already has fallen. So I was, I don't know. I was so mad that night. I was so mad, like I lost everything I have. Like everything I have was gone. Everything I have.
We totally understand yeah. Go ahead, please.
Once more, if I said it earlier in my video I made, if there is a way I will see that guy I push, because I'm not a violent somebody. I'm not a violent somebody. If there's any way I can see him, I will beg him. I will beg him to please forgive me for pushing him not to do his job. Because I know it's his job he's trying to do on that fateful night. But he should try to understand me. Everything I have in this Lagos is gone. It's gone.
So from what we deduce, one of the reasons why, I mean, it's some people might understand it, but at the same time, it's no excuse to assault another human being by shoving it. And you said if you do have the opportunity to meet a Ferrible Israel, that's our colleague that was on duty that day, you would apologize to him in person because you're not a violent person. What lessons would you say you've learned from the fire incident and this publicity, albeit wrong publicity, that you've received in the last few days?
Yeah, I learned a lot of lessons because it's not good. What I did was not right. But I did what I did. I don't know what I was doing because my mind, I lost everything. I lost everything, like everything I have. I lost it. So seeing him trying to make that speech, it's like, God, what is this guy trying to say? Like, what is this guy trying to do where everything I have in this Lagos is gone? With that anger, I asked him to leave. I was frustrated. I was so frustrated. I was so frustrated that night. I even pray God that I never lose my life that night because a time come, all my body was shaking. I don't know what it is like. What happened that night?
All right. You said earlier that you didn't want to see journalists. What you wanted was the fire service. Are you saying that the fire service did not come in early enough?
Yeah, the fire service, they came, but they were complaining that there was not enough water. That gets me angry more. There was not enough water. Why everything is going down? You guys are saying there's not enough water. See, there's not much water to quench the fire.
All right.
Chinedu, how do you hope to move on and rebuild your life after this incident? What's the scale? You did say that you lost everything in this fire. What message do you have for your fellow traders, and how do you plan to pick yourself up again?
Yeah, I pray God for God to send someone that will help, because right now, nothing. And I also ask God to help those that are same shoe with me in that plaza.
Chinedu,
because right now,
to be honest, right, I mean, it's a very sad story that we're reporting. Very sad to see that fire. We were reporting it, and when we're speaking with Israel, we could feel the pain of the people. And even now, we can feel your pain from all of this. But can you give us a picture of maybe how much was lost in that fire? If you know from your own personal experience, how much you lost in terms of, financial loss, how many other people lost properties, are there other stories that, personal stories that you encountered that you'd be willing to share with us?
Yeah, like for my own side, I lost so much. On my own side, I lost so much. I don't know about others. On my own side, I lost close to over 20-something million. On my own side, I don't know about others. And that was everything I have in this Lagos. Everything I have in this Lagos. You understand? Everything I have is gone.
Okay.
I don't know about others. Many, the ones I know, many of them have so many goods in their shop, which I can't tell, okay, this is the amount. And none of them bring out even a one pin out of their shop.
Very tragic incident. What about insurance? Do you know were you covered by insurance, and if the neighbor traders have any sort of insurance policy? No. And before this incident, I'm sure you've heard about, you've witnessed in the last few years, Lagos Island, a lot of those shops susceptible to fire incidents. What was community like? Was there any community-like strategy in dealing with fires? Did the fire service come to talk to you guys at different points in time before this fire incident happened? What was the situation awareness like? Or it was just prayers and, God forbid, even if a fire happens, it can't affect us? How safety conscious were you and the fellow traders around Mandelas before this incident?
Like, I can't get you. Come again, please.
Just to be clear, we're not placing the bulk of the responsibility on you and all the other people who lost, because the truth is the fire can happen at any time. But we just want to find out, were you trained on how to maybe deal with first aid measures to put out a fire? Were there fire drills? So fire drills sometimes in companies, they would pretend that there's a fire outbreak and teach people how to respond, what to do, how to use fire extinguishers. Did any of those things happen in the market?
No.
Wow, that's a really, really sad story there.
And what nature of business were you dealing with? What did you lose?
I'm into clothing and shoes.
You've lost.
I sell clothes, I sell shoes.
All right. You've lost over 20 million, and there are people who have lost millions as well in this fire. What kind of help will make sense for you at this point? Because you've said that right now you've lost everything that you have and you really don't know where to start from. What kind of help will make sense for you to get you back on your feet?
Yeah, if there is any way the government or any individual can support us, because we really lost a lot in that plaza. We lost a lot. If there is any way, any individual or the government, okay, you guys should use this one to start life again. Because right now, for my own side, I can speak for my own self. Nobody is there to help me. Like nobody. I have nobody. I'm the only son of my family. Nobody is there to help me. Nobody.
And how long have you been doing this business that you've built to this level and unfortunately lost?
Yeah, for like going to 6 years now.
Wow. 6 years of doing this business, and everything that you've gathered together was lost in the fire.
Everything.
How also did your family receive this news? How did your family receive it?
Yeah, I hide the news from my dad and my mom because I know the condition. Because if I reveal this to them now, another problem will start by their health. So I hide it from them. I just tell my sisters. They should not tell them. To do it on low. They agree. You understand? So for now, my dad and my mom, I don't need to tell them anything, because if I reveal it to them, it's going to add more to their health.
Oh, well.
So that is it.
That's thoughtful of you, and that's really sad that you have to bear this burden. Chinedu, we'll go on a break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation and then bring it to a close with you. But please stay on the line.
In Nigeria's northeast, youths of Konduga local government area are calling on the Borno state government to facilitate the relocation of the Abba Ashiga College of Business and Management Studies, Kobamas, from Maiduguri to its original site in Konduga. The higher institution of learning, initially established in Konduga, was moved to Maiduguri during the peak of the Boko Haram insurgency to ensure security of staff and students in continuation of academic activities. News Central's Umaru Kirawa completes the report.
For the past 10 years, due to security concerns, Abba Ashigar College of Business and Management Studies, Konduga, has operated from its temporary location, which is Maiduguri, the Borno state capital. With the return of peace and stability in Konduga and neighboring communities, stakeholders are calling for the college to be relocated back to its rightful location.
Gwamnar Gwarena, buron Konduga jiji kawai kamwaye, ku konga kama sorosunna. Duri kirazen, amma kirazaya secondary ita marama walai namzan leza faton. Chakwale char Konduga waltuna ko monti la bulin la ko kolza satuna rolon ma. Bula shi ma lan duri kadda kamar secondary ita mazana kwaliba namzama. Montir ma faida nano zayare ande back to school ya le campaigning da sai kalanya
kamla transport bayani ngoro da ana din isa kara din marakin ba so bai amma bulan no wallo ma bulan isa rakta sulu yindu ne karaja nan da fana fanda waltin an maro gwamna goren yana his excellency an goren yana an da bana da an da monti da kalax
ala barask bula Konduga kirma nilefar taida zu buro ko dana buro ma lenum rangum Konduga lan bare kilometer falin dimar rangum den bari dimbaw kirma ala barask security afizina sayro kere chida ya china.
With relative peace now restored, the youths argue that the return of the college will help restore confidence back to displaced residents who have since returned home.
27 local government position do ne kondo anda ana din daman ba da so ade dero la daman zan faida tana la yanza shilan faida tembe da so ade ro nyuro longoro tiyena
Konduga college kirma kompam tawo da suran IDF kam nafsana kuru sai IDF kam mar sasangu do college Konduga collecting sai a lokto gojin ne durinde so nda kara zayan bai ade ski your excellency an godo yana gwamna godo yana monti do kirma na bire ya ai so suradin bai do shango do yana ande ro college ana dia rosatu
ande ya duri anze krami anze en kare na kadro ande awdo gwamnatin da lejin ra inde da ande ro bara gumna borno baranza andero au shimada andero so taidani askari yana.
United with one voice, the teeming youth of Konduga are anxiously awaiting action from the Borno state government. They believe that relocating the only higher institution of learning back to their community will truly reflect the peace being witnessed on ground. In Maiduguri for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
You're watching Breakfast Central. We'll go on a quick break, and when we return, we'll bring you more conversations. So stay with us. Welcome back to Breakfast Central. Now, former NNPP presidential candidate Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso has signaled his readiness to return to the All Progressive Congress, but insists on clear and binding terms before doing so. Speaking in Kano, Kwankwaso recalled his role in the founding of the APC, claiming he and his allies faced harassment from anti-graft agencies and security operators during the party's formation.
He emphasized that while he's satisfied with the NNPP, he remains open to alliances based on honesty and fairness, including possible engagement with the PDP if it admits past mistakes. Kwankwaso lamented that despite his group's contributions to the APC's rise to power, they were sidelined during Buhari's 8-year administration and received no recognition. His remarks have brought up further conversation on APC's chances at the 2027 elections. Joining us to discuss this is National Publicity Secretary of the New Nigeria People's Party, Ladipo Johnson. Good morning and thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me once again.
All right. So in the statement, in the address, we could see Senator Kwankwaso. But before we tell you about, before I go into my question, I believe we have a second guest. We have the All Progressives Congress member, Dominic Alancha. Good morning, Dominic. Thank you for joining us. All right, I'll begin with Mr. Ladipo Johnson. In the speech, we could see Senator Kwankwaso talking about the role he played as a founding member of the APC and how they were sidelined, and how he's open to a collaboration of some sort with the APC and even with the PDP, so long as the details of the agreement are made public. How does that come across to you?
Well, it's been our position for a while now. If you recall, we've always said that we have several options on the table. And it's no different. It's just the way the news cycle goes and the sensationalism there for those who actually took the initial message and began to use and spread it. What he actually said was that, look, is what we've been saying, that he's open to, he's happy with the NNPP, but we're also open to discussions, whether with the APC or even the PDP or whosoever. What I think occurred was that there are some members who naturally want to affiliate with the APC. Some wants to go with the ADC of the coalition. That was the word I was looking for. But he said to them at the meeting, he was saying to his caucus generally that, look, you say you want, some of you want to go to APC or want to work with the APC. Have they offered you anything? It's not just about Kwankwaso. It's about him, the membership of the caucus around the country and the party. It's not just the Kwankwaso movement. What is in it for members of the NNPP working with any side, whether it is the APC or the PDP or the ADC? So that was a context in which the statement was made. What we've said and what remains is that, look, we either have the option, because 2027 is fast approaching, to sit down and continue with the NNPP as we are, try to grow the party and do whatever we want to do. Or we can talk, which we are doing, talking to various people, and see if anything crystallizes. The bottom line is that there are some fundamental principles about one, and the most important, is about the direction of the country and about the platform. When I say the platform, I'm talking about things around the manifesto and what we believe in. And then apart from that, you now talk the political aspect of it, is that the members around the country, would there be a way to bring them in to any fold, or if you're having a marriage, to get them working together with other people, wherever they are, whether in Lagos or Ekiti or in the East, etc. So that was a context in which he spoke. But I think the sensational news there was that I'm ready to go to the APC, but I'm waiting for so offer.
All right. We'll come back and continue conversation, and then I will bring in Dominica Lancha into the conversation. But let's go on a very quick break. And when we come back, there's more to come. Stay with us. Welcome back to Breakfast Central. We're still going to have the conversation with Ladipo Johnson and Dominica Lancha shortly, but a temporary break in this moment to afford Mr. Chinedu the opportunity. We did have a conversation with him, if you recall. We shared with you earlier the video where he attacked our journalist, Israeli Fubara, and we had a conversation with him some minutes ago where he had expressed remorse and apologized and said clearly that he would love the opportunity to apologize to our correspondent, Israeli Fubara, directly. And we have both gentlemen on the screen. Good morning, Israeli Fubara. Thank you very much for joining. And Chinedu, thank you very much for staying behind. Chinedu, this is your opportunity. The floor is yours.
Hi, you, my brother. Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I'm very well. Can you hear me? Good morning to you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, hi, my brother. I'm so sorry for what happened that night. I'm so sorry. I was not on my right senses. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Just that you are a man. You know what I'm trying to say. I'm the only son of my family. To watch everything I have in this Lagos go down. If there's some people that are mad, so please forgive me. Forgive me, please. I'm begging you. Forgive me. Forgive me. Forgive me, please. I'm so sorry. So sorry. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. Thank you so much.
Israel?
I hope one day we're going to see like this. We're going to see. Thank you so much. Please.
I quite understand what you're saying. I really sympathize with you. Sincerely, I sympathize with you. Watching your shop and your livelihood go down the way it did on the horrific night. I sympathize with you. But we as journalists, it's behoves on us to always, be on the side of the people, the masses.
It is as it happens, and that's the only way. That's the only way government can see what's happening. That's the only way the world can see exactly what's happening. I quite understand that you were running high on emotions, and you have rightly apologized, and I accept your apology, which is indeed the right thing to do. I know you've been trying to reach me, but I'm in River State right now. So busy. I've not been able to process everything that has happened in the last few days, but I think I can make exception for you right now and just look at the whole thing again, in hindsight, and say, and I agree with you that yes, emotions are running high, and I know that you're really sorry. For you to be even here today, it shows how sorry you are. So I accept your apology, and I want to believe and hope that everything that you've lost, you will regain everything in tenfold, and it will be well with you. So it's fine. It's okay. I think your name is Chinedu. I don't know if I got that right. And yes, Simon. I'm sure we'll meet very soon.
Thank you very much. Now, Israel, let's track back a bit to the day of the incident. What was going through your mind when you were shoved by Chinedu? How did you feel at that moment in the line of your duty?
I felt disturbed. I felt under threat, because if someone could behave like that, what if he lunged at the crew with a weapon or with something? So it really puts our lives at risk at that point in time, because there were lots of people with different mindsets at the scene. So it was really hard for us to calm people down and let them know that we're just journalists trying to do our job. So my mind was all over the place. But one thing that I did not allow to happen was for me to also start running high on emotions. I really tried to stay calm.
And you did a good job of
and do the job.
You did a good job of putting your emotions in check. And I also applaud Chinedu Simon for being polite and man enough to own up and apologize. But if we're being honest, that's not always the case. Some months back, Bernard Akede and his team were attacked by a group of thugs. Thankfully, I mean, this shows us that Chinedu is not a thug. He was attacked by some group of thugs until today. The Nigerian police had said they were going to investigate it, and we haven't yet come to the conclusion of that. How would you say, as journalists, you're being exposed to press intimidation in the line of work?
First of all, before I answer that question, I'd like to say a big thank you to a particular group of the men of the police force. They're known as the Blue Line Tactical Squad. These guys were the ones who told us to go back to that scene and do our job. When we told them this is what has happened, that we were being harassed and attacked and chased out from the place, they told us to go back there, and they stood by us while we were making it live on that particular night. The live crossing we did that night, they stood by to ensure that we did our job. So I want to say a big thank you to the men of the Blue Line Tactical Squad of the Lagos State Police Command. They did well on that particular day. So yes, I think a lot needs to be done for journalists, and it also begins with sensitization of the people, of the public, on what the role of a journalist is, to society. I mean, we call ourselves the fourth estate of the realm, and rightly so, because we have a job, to do, a huge role to play. And if we do not play that role objectively, I don't think we can bring about development, that we see in Lagos, in Nigeria, and the world at large. So yes, sensitization is key, and then for journalists as well, I think there should be much more protection for journalists, so we can go ahead and do our job without fear of being attacked or being lynched by anyone at any point in time. The people also have a role to play as well. When they know that the journalists who come there to do their job are only doing their job and on the side of the people, I think they will also understand that whatever happens, even if it's really hard to take and hard to understand at that point in time, let the journalists do their job. That is the only thing that we owe to the people.
All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us, Israel Iferobo and Chinedu Johnson. Israel, well done. Thank you for, constantly doing your job, regardless of the difficulties that you may experience along the way. And Chinedu, thank you very much for taking accountability and apologizing. And we hope that in the nearest future, you'll also help to be advocates to in ensuring that people do not interfere with the press when they're doing their job. But also, very importantly, we hope that you find help from individuals, from the government, and that you're able to start your life again and make it into something more beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we're back to the conversation about Senator Kwankwaso and the possibility of him either aligning with the APC or the PDP if certain conditions are met. We're joined by Ladipo Johnson, who had given us a clearer picture of what was said earlier. We're also joined by Dominic Alancha. Good morning, Dominic Alancha. I'll come to you now and ask for your perspective as to what the possibility of an alignment between the NPP and the APC, and what you think that this might mean if that alignment were to happen.
Mr. Alancha, your audio is muted.
Sorry?
We can hear you now.
Yes,
go ahead.
Please go ahead.
All right. Thank you very much. I think this is from going by the rumor that has been making rounds, I think since last year. This is long overdue. And if it's happening right now, I think it is timely for the APC because, it has been rumored all this while that Kwankwaso is coming into the party. And I like, what Kwankwaso is doing is demonstrating that he's a leader. If going by the statement that is out there, of his giving conditions to the APC before coming into the party. And one thing I like about what Kwankwaso is doing right now is the fact that he's putting interest of the Kwankwasia movement before any other thing. In the statement I read, he made it categorically clear that he will not, align with any political party that would sideline or shortchange or use and dump members of his movement, members of his party, the ANPP and the NNPP, and the Kwankwasia movement. So he wants to solidify that agreement and make it concrete so that he will be able to attract tangible benefit for his people. But for the APC, I think they will celebrate this because given the coalition talks that has been ongoing, which, eventually we are seeing it being consummated, in the recognition of the leadership of the APC, they actually pose a threat, to the APC, especially in the north, because as we speak with you right now, the impression being created or the perception is that APC is no longer a dominance party or an acceptable party to northern people. Given the fact that the non-people felt shortchanged, certain persons felt shortchanged, and stuff like that. So for me, I think he's coming into the APC. They are going to celebrate it because he's coming with some sort of value. If you look at the Kwankwasia movement, talking of grassroots, particularly in Northwest, I won't say the northern Nigeria, because if you look at 2022 performance of Kwankwaso and the NNPP, you would agree with me that his dominance is, in Northwest, because in the Northwest, that's where he was able to garner some votes that added to the 900 and something thousand votes he got in Kano that him came out in the election. So it's not some sort that APC take advantage of, especially in terms, harvesting the votes, in the already existing bank, voters bank of the NNPP, because the time is coming in the APC, is coming with all of those votes, into the, so for me, the Kwasia, the NNPP, to some extent, it's well grounded in Northwest, and it will be a game changer for all the APC in the Northwest. Okay. Given also the fact that if you look at what is happening, the coalition are not in talk. I don't think they're really talking with Kwankwaso, and he will want to remain relevant because I don't see him having the capacity to stand alone and run election in 2027. He needs alignment,
Okay, thank you, Mr. Alancha.
His political relevance, he's coming to replace, Shetima. And those are some of the questions that Nigerians need to begin to ask. Those are the questions that, Kwankwaso himself, what is his interest really? Beyond the fact that he's fighting for the interests of the Kwankwasia movement, there are rumors that Shetima will be replaced with it. And it's going to be a serious one. The Northeast are already drawn, they are battle drawn that if Shetima is replaced, they are going to vote against APC. The Muslim is another issue, that some of us that are in the APC are against. And we are saying that Tinubu should replace, should not fly a Muslim ticket in 2027.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alancha. I would like to bring in Mr. Ladipo Johnson back into the conversation. Mr. Ladipo Johnson, it seems Mr. Alancha just opened Pandora's box. They seem to actually wants Mr. Kwankwaso more than Mr. Kwankwaso wants to go to the APC. But just also following what Mr. Anancha just said, now, as we inch closer to 2027, time is ticking. In 2026, the country will get into full political mode. Do you think this is a done deal? Has the decision been made already? And if you could put a timeline to it, when do you think this transfer move, to put it in football parlance, would be made or not made? When do we get a final decision on this?
Well, I do not think that it is a done deal. As I said earlier, the dynamics are there. A lot depends on what happens when talks happen and what, I don't want to say what is on the table, but basically, Mr. Alade has spoken about the position of the APC. If you were a strategist for the president, then starting from the point of view, in reality, that northern Nigeria on the whole are not so happy with the last 2-3 years, then you try to see, and when you look at the CPC part of the APC after the unfortunate death of President Buhari, then you know that people like the former Attorney General, et cetera, El Rufai, are not or are no longer whining and dining with the APC. Then you know that there's a hole for Mr. President in his in the electoral map to get back into Aso Rock in 2027. Now, Kano, as you well know, usually has the highest voter turnout, and the votes there are heavy. That's why we say in political terms, when you talk about Kano, you are talking of about 4 or 5 states, you understand? Now, if the APC are able to get Kano into one box, in the sense that the Deputy Senate President and others, Ganduje, are within the APC fold. Now, if the major part of Kano, which is now independent, as in NNPP, not ADC, not APC, if that comes within the column of the APC, then most likely the election is over by 12 noon, as we always say. You understand? So those are the things there. But as I said, and as Senator Kwankwaso said, from his statement, it's very clear that there are either people talking to him or haven't spoken to him or what have you. There's still issues there. So, but to your question directly, the timeline is getting shorter. Personally, I think not personally, the NNPP will begin its World Congresses, say by November, December, into early next year, where you now have the convention. After the convention, then most likely by the convention, you have to know whether you're staying alone or whether you're entering one marriage or the other, whether with the APC or with some form of coalition. You have to know that within latest by the end of first quarter next year, I believe. Because I think, I'm not certain now, by June, July, the candidates of parties must have emerged. Because the election is probably in February, and you know the Electoral Act now gives some 6 months for campaign or what have you. So the time is running short, is much shorter, and your question alluded to that, the timeline. So I think over December, whatever move has to be made has to be made.
Okay, I mean, you said whatever move has to be made, has to be made. Let's also get Mr. Lancha's thoughts and responses to some of the things that you've said.
Can you come with the question again, please?
I was saying, do you have a response to what Mr. Johnson had said this morning?
Well, it's not something really new because, like I said, the APC is doing all it can to ensure that somebody like Kwankwaso, who has, a northern appeal and a grassroots value, to add to the APC, comes to the fore. Because he's coming into the APC is going to be, an advantage to the APC, especially in the Northwest. So the timeline is talking about, I said, that there is need for us to answer certain, questions. If not, it's going to create a lot of crisis for the APC. Because whenever he comes into the APC, you know that there will be alignment and realignment. And that alignment and realignment will display, certain persons who have some, on, certain positions right now. For example, the Vice President Shetima, could be replaced with Kwankwaso, because I can tell you that permutation is also on the table being discussed. They are looking at the electoral value that Kwankwaso is bringing to the table to be higher, to be more at stake, than the political value that Shetima brings to the table. And any day, anytime, if you ask me, I will tell you that the president would rather go with Kwankwaso, than going with Shetima. Because even right now, there is no, I don't think there is a cordial relationship that exists between them. Otherwise,
why do you say so? Do you have any evidence to back up your claims, Mr. Lancha? Why do you suspect the president will replace the current vice president, Mr. Shetima? And what gave you why do you say that they're not in good terms? Do you have any evidence to back your claims?
No, what I'm saying that if you look at in terms of electoral value, you cannot compare the electoral value of Kwankwaso with Shetima. Shetima does not really have a grip on the North. If he does, what is happening in the northern Nigeria today with regards to their rejection of the APC will not have been happening. And that is why I am saying if Kwankwaso comes into the party, he could, displace certain persons from their current position, because there will be realignment and alignment, the moment he comes into the party. And one of the issues, being discussed, as part of his interest is the vice presidential, ticket, to Tinubu. And if you look at it in real sense, value in terms of electoral value, Kwankwaso has more value to add to the APC than, Shetima as it currently stands. So what I'm saying is, if there was, a cordial relationship existing between the president and, the Vice President Kashim Shettima.
Okay. We unfortunately have lost connection to Mr. Lancha. We have Mr. Ladipo Johnson. Final thoughts. If you can share in 1 minute, he believes that NNPP or APC stands a greater chance aligning with the NNPP, as he believes that Alhaji Kashim Shettima doesn't have as much influence over the North as your principal does. And I'm sure you're probably excited by hearing him say that. But let's get your final thoughts before we wrap up the conversation.
Well, being excited about what he said, my final thoughts are that the party, that's the NNPP, and Senator Kwankwaso for that matter, are open. We are open. We said that immediately after 2023, because at the end of the day, what is important to us is, as we say, we deal with the masses, is to get this country moving. And whichever way, whatever we have to do, apart from our own personal feelings and what have you, we would try to do to make sure that we improve governance in the country. Now, whether that is joining the APC or going with some coalition remains to be seen, because you have to sit down and talk. There are two things when you sit and talk. One is the interests of the party or individuals. The second is if you actually stand for something, which we do, you now have to talk to them that, okay, we know you're not doing this or you don't want to do it, but at least when it comes to education, can you do this? When it comes to healthcare, can we do this, etc.? That's the platform. The platform has to be, you don't want to be odd bedfellows. There's no point. It will just go through you just go through the elections and then fall apart afterwards. We're not going to do that. So whichever way it is, we are still open. But as you rightly said in your earlier question, the timeline is getting shorter and things have to begin to move properly.
Ladipo Johnson, Dominic Alancha, thank you, gentlemen, for joining us this morning on Breakfast Central. And we'll count down to 2027 and see what moves and strategies will be employed as we proceed to the polls. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Welcome back. It's time for the papers, and joining us this morning is journalist Habib Aruna. Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us, sir. It's good to have you.
Expanded wisdom, and you're looking very great.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Good to have you.
Thank God it's Monday.
Yes.
Thank God it is Monday.
I've
indeed.
never heard that before.
Honestly, because people hardly ever say thank God it's Monday.
Friday.
It's always thank God it's Friday,
Yeah.
because it's the end of the week. I love that. Some people, instead of thank God it's Monday, all they feel is my suit, Monday blues.
Let's start with the Punch newspaper. Very interesting headline here. Screaming headline.
Very
Ibas
screaming.
Rejects Assembly's move to probe 6 months pending. And the writer says, ex-administrator insists lawmakers lack the power to question his tenure. And civil society organizations are asking Governor Fubara to hold Ibas accountable. So, I mean, let's just start with this. The Port Harcourt, the River State House of Assembly, they're the representatives of the people. And if the people say, look, we want to hold this man accountable, we want to look into the books, they have a duty of care to respond to them. And civil society organizations are also saying that, Mr. Vice Admiral Ibas retired, that the governor, Siminalayi Fubara, should hold him accountable. This seems to be the first port of call. This is a governor that is coming back from 6 months suspension. He's being humiliated. His body language is different. Should he start looking at canker worm and looking into people's cupboards for skeleton, or he should face the remaining time? Remember that he lost 6 months of his administration. Or should he focus on other things? What do you make of this headline? And is the Vice Admiral in a position to even say somebody lacks the power to probe him?
Thank God that peace has eventually been restored.
A real peace or graveyard peace?
No, peace. Peace.
Oh, peace is peace.
Peace and stability have been restored, at least for now. You know, and the governor that was elected is now back in the saddle. The governor is not the one trying to probe. Ibas retired. It's the State House of Assembly, which was rightly said were elected by the people. They represent the people. So if the Assembly now are now saying that they want to look at the books, look at how this man spent our money in 6 months, I think they are in the right course. They are absolutely in order.
Isn't it double jeopardy? Because the National Assembly performed the functions
No.
of the State House Assembly while he was administrator. So they performed the oversight functions. Don't you think they would have scrutinized him in the first place?
That's a fine question. The laws, the constitution that gave the president the powers, to impose such emergency also presupposes that IBAS, the sole administrator, will be responsible and accountable to the National Assembly. Because they're the one that approved that announcement and the position, which they have been doing. We've seen IBAS many times going to Abuja to face the senators and reps members on what this is what I've been doing. But the State Assembly doesn't have a duty. God is a local matter. Every politics is local.
Yes.
That, let's look at what this man has been doing. Opening the books does not mean that the man is guilty. Please, let's get it right. This is not the first time we're having state of emergencies imposed. Badagna did it in Plateau and Ekiti. But those administrators, Ali, the late Ali, and the General Lore, they did not exceed their boundary. This is the first time people are saying that a state administrator will conduct a local government election during state of emergency. Perhaps the first time. So there are many steps that this man took, IBAS, that were questionable and by extension unconstitutional. People are saying that, let's look at the books, let's look at what he has done so far. And the civil society, they're also right. This man is bragging that he has done those things. Let's look at it. Let's look at how far he has done. I mean, nobody is passing judgment yet. And IBAS is not in his right, to be telling us that they can't probe him. No. Let the law take its course. If you always just keep quiet.
Exactly.
Go through the night. Walk through the night. We are no longer in the picture. Let's look at what we have done.
And you cannot stop investigation.
Absolutely.
The innocent need not fear judgment.
Absolutely.
Like if they're investigating you, and you know that you have done everything by the books, there's nothing to be afraid.
I guess it's saying you didn't appoint me, so who are you to question me?
No, we didn't appoint you, but we're not in a banana republic.
And you served my state.
You served, exactly. We need to be able to account for the past 6 months. But we're still seeing here on the front page. Let's move to another story. Dangote refinery, changes come to the oil sector, Nigerian economy. Otedola tells that man.
That's an advertorial.
Yes.
By Otedola.
Crude oil supply to domestic refineries hit 67.6 million barrels. And Borno terrorist attack victims hospitalized in Cameroon. Apparently, there was a terrorist attack in Borno State. And it's interesting. Typically, we don't see a number of these on the front pages of the Punch. It's usually the Daily Trust that shows that apparently enough airstrikes killed 25 terrorists in Borno Yobe. Nigerian Air Force has killed more than 25 terrorists in a coordinated night air operation at Bula in Yobe and Banki axis of Borno. This was contained in a statement released by the Director, Public Relations and Information, NAF Air Commodore Ehimen Ejodame, on Saturday in Abuja. Let's now move on to another paper, and this time around, let's look at the date. Okay, you want to speak on that?
I was thinking like you are going to talk about the issue of Otedola.
Okay.
It's intervention,
Yes.
and this supply chain between
the squabble,
the marketers and Dangote. It will be difficult, in my view, for the marketers to win this war. Even this battle for the war.
They don't have the resources.
I doubt. Not only resources, they don't have a case.
And even public opinion is.
People will say that, yes, we know it should be expected that you support your friend, Dangote. But you look at the issues for Otedola race, very congent, very paramount, and very important. They can't be taking us back. Let's move forward. This thing you are doing is for your own selfish interest. Dangote refinery has come to stay. Man spend so much money, invested a lot of money in it, and go and participate. Don't hold him down. That is what Otedola is saying. And for you to spend so much money to make his case, I think it is something that we should take into consideration. They cannot win this. They've been doing this thing for long. And if we expect Dangote and his people to keep quiet, after investing so much money, you're a joker. They will fight these people, and the government don't be watching. And at the right time, they will intervene and stop this nonsense. Let's move this country forward. And it will continue too, because our refineries are not working.
Right. Refineries that many have advocated that
if they are not working, Dangote will just, people will lead to Dangote. It's always working.
He has congratulated Dangote. He congratulated Dangote.
So if
and
the oil
said,
is not working, you are importing fuel. And you want Nigeria to keep quiet. When you have a refinery that is working here, and like you're saving $100,
Forex,
so it cannot work. So Nigeria will support Dangote to stabilize the price regime and make sure that these guys are not taking us for a ride.
All right.
Accuse a thing of the past, yes.
He said here that that man should innovate or die. It's something that they say basically like it's a quote that they would typically say, you innovate or you die. Die, we're not meaning literally, but your business model will not be able to survive if you don't keep up with the times. But let's move on to another story. Under this, the newspaper, El Rufai planning life presidency, not genuine Democrat. Reno Omokri says, I love Jonathan, but I will support Tinubu in 2027. UK, Canada, Australia, others announced recognition of State of Palestine. More Israeli allies to follow. Unreconciled Federation funds, FARC awaits NNPC on $42.37 billion, OAGF on 2 trillion Naira pending payments. Alleged unpaid monies over 2011 to 2017. Ad-hoc committee tasked National Oil firm to account for exploration fields since 1969. I think that's all that we have on front page.
I want Mr. Abi Barano to react to El Rufai. Tinubu planning life presidency, not a genuine Democrat. I mean, if you recall, at the Royal Institute of International Affairs a few years ago, just very few years ago, Mr. President, then it was the presidential candidate of the APC, having won the convention, was with Dele Alake, Nasir El-Rufai, and
Shomole and
the rest. And Nasir, also known as Chatham House, the Royal Institute of International Affairs, yes. And he posed the question, and Mr. President said, one of his greatest gifts is dedication. So he pointed to Nasir, he said, Nasir, answer this question. And Malam Nasir El-Rufai was very happy, and he answered the question. Fast forward 2 years down the line, or 3 years, the story is different now. He's saying that Mr. Tinubu is planning a life presidency. Did you not see that at Chatham House? What do you make of this? Is it even possible in our current democratic space? Because over the weekend too, Mr. former President Olusegun Obasanjo said he could have gotten a third term if he wanted to. So this third term discussion, is there a smoke without a fire? Is President Tinubu actually going for a third term, or is he planning a life presidency, according to Malam Nasir El-Rufai?
I will not, I like your background. I will not think so. Well, the president is a strategist. He knows his game, and he understood that Nigeria is too complex. It's too complex for any sitting president to envisage a short term. When the Constitution made it very clear, very explicit, they can only serve for 2 terms. That would be difficult. What El Rufai is a politician. We'll be hearing more of this from El Rufai and his co-travelers.
All right, we have a call.
As time go by.
Let's quickly take this call from Alhaji Muhammad, calling from Port Harcourt, and then we'll come back. Good morning, Alhaji Muhammad. Thank you for calling. Please go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning,
everyone. My name is Nyesom Muhammad in Dabaki. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
All right. Please go ahead.
I want to comment on the issue of Rivers State political crisis, where those involved in the crisis are now crying foul. I think it's a very sad one. That's why they say when you know the beginning of a crisis, you may not be able to predict the ending or the finishing line. And that is what some of them are suffering for. Now, the sole administrator cannot be saying that it's immune to prosecution, but unfortunately, the both sides of the divide are not also prosecuting because there's a judgment that has not been vacated that was granted by Justice Brian Mbuba in 2007 that gave a perpetual injunction against investigation, prosecution, and so on, and finances of River State. And somebody is coming here to say, okay, he wants to also do same. Now, in the declaration of state of emergency, it is a pronouncement by the president, appointing whoever that he so desired to take and watch over the affairs of River State, even though it was done out of, illegality. So I think we should look at the peace process in River State. We are running into the second episode of the crisis because we've not seen a single local government chairman, a single assembly member, a single appointees that were part of the Rabiu Musa faction of the crisis have gone to meet the governor in the airport or at governor house or make any form of, congratulatory message. So what does that tell you? I think we are not ready for peace. If we are ready for peace, they should call them together so that River State will move forward. River people are losing. They've lost 6 months of productivity. We are not a single achievement that has been seen by the sole administrator. The assembly complex that he met at 80% completion is still at 96 or 95% process. What does that tell you? Governance is a very clear message. It's not a rocket science. So I think I urge the president to look inward and see how he can invite those people back to Abuja. If not, I'm sorry, they may not be able to work in Phoenix. Thank you and God bless you.
Raji Mohammed for sharing your thoughts with us. He's talked about the sole administrator and so many of which projects.
He's based in River State. His position is that the state has lost so much and that there should not be any infighting or crisis any longer or prevarication. That every effort should not be geared towards ensuring peace, stability, and good governance in the state. Yeah, you have the point. But at the same time, they're not banning the lawmakers who are the people's representatives, to look at the books. Not necessarily raising an eyebrow or trying to indict.
And like Colin said, looking at the books
just look at the books
does
and
not mean that you will find
anything incriminating.
Exactly.
So let me just conclude. You see that the fact that Rufai is just trying to cry wolf, where there is none, and it should be expected as a politician. That is what you should be doing, and the presidency has replied him that are you okay? That are you is this man okay? So this back and forth between the opposition and the presidency, we will see it as time go by.
So is this the sort of opposition we should be expecting as we move towards 2027? Allegations, no genuine policy conversations, personality politics, this person wants to do this. I mean, what does he say about the quality of our democracy?
There is no, it's okay. It's very okay.
If we're bickering on, outrageous
you see, there's problem. If you look at the US now, US democracy is in a mare. It's in peril. These right-wingers.
I mean, the US shouldn't be used as an example for...
So that's why people are even saying that they've reached their peak. They are now sliding.
They're in a decline. Yeah.
And it's unfortunate. But our own, we are guiding it jealously. And this kind of comments, they're important for democracy. Democracy.
But people...
Opposition should be allowed.
People are hungry. Things are expensive.
But
you're not providing viable alternatives
governance is going on.
to that.
Governance is going on. ADC as an opposition party is talking providing alternatives. If you watch the public secretary and his pronouncement, his statements, it's about good governance. It's about providing alternative to what this government is doing. And this government is also doing its work, is doing its best. The government is doing its best. Things are not, inflation is going down. The economy is not too bad, even though it has not translated to bread and butter. But they are doing their best to make sure that people are comfortable.
So while the publicity secretary is doing the kinetic means, Nasir El-Rufai can be doing the non-kinetic.
No.
Verbal fire.
That's why El-Rufai is a political player.
Okay.
What El-Rufai said is not the position of ADC. It's personal opinion of El-Rufai.
Okay.
And it's normal to paint the government black, to demonize them. That is what this man is planning. So don't allow him to come back to 2007. Politics. It should be allowed.
Let's take a look at the final paper we have for review today, the Daily Times. Daily Times headline says federal government revokes 1,263 mineral licenses for defaulting annual fees. That's a huge, huge number. And we also have ADC faction sues INEC for recognizing Mark and Aregbesola. This party that is barely how many weeks old is now having factions. People will point fingers and say, you know, it's the APC that is going to destabilize them. But it's just our nature in Nigeria not to be very organized. Failed transactions. Banks' customers decry delay and tedious process of money reversal. This reminds me of the song that MI sang that year. Money slow to enter.
Money quick to go.
And money quick and slow to reverse.
Okay, we'll come back to take more stories, but let's hear from Uche, who's calling from Abia. Good morning, Uche.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This issue of River State, I'm not happy that they are complaining. Whatever that is happening today, they brought it by themselves. The elders of River State allowed Wike, one person, to vote a form for everybody. And the EFCC are looking at Wike. ICPC are looking at Wike. One person. Is it not corruption? They allow corruption to grow in their state. They should stop complaining. Whatever they are going through, they brought it by themselves. They should stop. In fact, Nigerian journalists will allow River State to suffer what they brought on themselves. How can one person, they allow him to grow weak, they allow him to be emperor, and they are complaining today? That's my own opinion. They should stop complaining. God bless you people.
God bless you too. Thank you.
Anything they see, they should take it.
May they collect.
Yes.
Okay.
The Nigerian journalists should allow them to just relax and take it.
Okay, we're still looking at the stories on the front page. I want us to just quickly touch on NIMET. NIMET predicts 3-day rain, thunderstorms in Adamawa, Kaduna, Bauchi, others. It would seem here, yes, it would seem here that the rains have started this morning. These predictions, how well do they prepare us? How effective are they in preparing us from the harsh effects of this flood?
Correct. And it's already happening. It rained yesterday, through yesterday to this morning. This shows that their prediction is already happening. They already said it. And I think Nigeria should take it serious. Nigeria and these states that should be affected, they should also wake up and put in place mechanism.
But is waking up just announcing that if you live in flood-prone areas,
you should relocate.
Areas, you should just relocate. That's what they say.
No. In some of these states, there are provisions for people to evacuate them to, for example, in Lagos State, around Jebode Road. No, there are locations around the country.
The state emergency.
Absolutely, where they can locate. Okay. But both state and federal agencies.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they should do more in terms of enlightening.
And the role you are playing now, to educate them, informing them.
Actually do
that you guys should not sleep with the two eyes closed. Always be vigilant and look at, if you see anything like that, inform the government and see how you can easily evacuate it. It's very important.
So, Olive, the mainland is, I believe, is low-lying, and you are on the highland. That's why it's called highline. Can I come and lie?
That dry, very
green
dry.
pastures.
Okay, so just to prepare, it's going to be from Monday to Wednesday. It started today, rain, thunderstorms, and I'm hoping that we can put whatever necessary plans we have in place. Let's look at the big story. Federal government revokes 1,263 mineral licenses for defaulting annual fees. Let's take a look at that. And I'm just going to quickly get the details of this story so that we can.
This is quite a huge number, and mining is a capital-intensive industry. So
it only came out yesterday in the put online, and it's very clear.
Is it?
Yeah.
So
that they've been declining.
So what they're saying is that
paying for years.
They are trying to sanitize the solid minerals space. And they are trying to be in compliance with extant laws. And it's great because we haven't heard a lot from the Minister of Solid Minerals. So Dr. Dele Alake, we're hearing a lot from him here now. And this was, of course, released by him in a statement issued by Special Assistant on Media Segun Tumori. According to the minister, the revoked titles comprise 584 exploration licenses, 65 mining leases, 144 quarry licenses, and 470 small-scale mining leases. These licenses will now be deleted from the electronic mining cadastral system portal of the Nigerian Mining Cadastral Office. And he explained that the revocation was approved following recommendations from the MCO after the affected companies failed to comply with the mandatory payment of their annual service fees.
One of the biggest discoveries of this administration is the fact that you can make money through mining, And Anake, a close pally of the president, was put in charge. And if you look at the record in the past 2 years, they've been making a lot of money for the government. So that's why everything he says, people listen, So what he's saying here is that many people have been defaulting in paying the annual dues. So they've checked it and realized that they've been warned severally. They did not conform, and that is why the government went ahead to revoke their licenses. So it's
not a what's the word? I'm trying to look at. It's not an arbitrary revocation.
No. They followed the normal process. The process was followed, and they were told to pay, and then they refused to pay.
So they said a number of people also collect licenses and keep them in the drawer. That paying your annual fees is the least way to show your seriousness.
Absolutely.
That you're interested in.
And mining is capital intensive. I wonder how you get a license.
The government is handling more money now in this sector.
Dues. Yes.
As never before. So we should appreciate.
A lot of us were expecting Dele Alake to be Minister of Information, given his background. And as Commissioner of Information and Strategy in Lagos State. But because of the seriousness and also the presidency's will to move beyond oil
and generate more money
and diversify the economy.
To put demand there, and it's performing very well.
Okay, to wrap up the conversation this morning, I want to just share a header there at the bottom that says CJN to inaugurate 57 new SANs as Supreme Court marks new legal year, September 29. So in 7 days. We're going to have new Leonard Silks.
So both SAN.
I'm hoping your name.
I was waiting for that. If you did not say that, I would have said Benga Bora is going to
You're approaching 10 years at the bar.
I'm more than 10 years at the bar.
More than 10 years at the bar.
Yeah.
But she's more of a broadcaster now.
Yeah. I'm definitely over a decade at the bar.
Luminary.
And being an SAN is a lot of work. The requirements are intense. So for those who have scaled through, congratulations to them. I look forward to seeing the innovation.
Last one before we go. I'm sure you saw that video over the weekend. I believe it was Anambra State or Abia State Judiciary. The Chief Judge was marking the start of the judicial year. She was wearing a gown and they were dancing. And it led to a lot of comments about, decolonizing our minds and our bodies. Those wigs, they kind of, with due respect, some of the comments said they look like masquerade. So is it time what do you make about this?
Revisiting the wig and
gown argument. It's colonial relics.
Well, I don't have any comment on that.
You're not a lawyer.
He's a lawyer here, and I have 2 lawyers as children.
Wow, nice.
Yeah.
Well, the truth is, if you ask a number of lawyers, there are mixed reactions. There are those who think, yes, they are colonial relics, and the current reality of Nigeria's weather doesn't even encourage you to wear the wig and gown. Because if you go to other climes in the West, they don't wear wig and gown in courts. They show up in courts.
In Africa, they are changing now.
Look at Burkina Faso.
Customary courts.
Burkina Faso has had their own traditional fabric woven into their legal regalia. That's one. But there are those there's a certain sentiment that's attached to your wig and gown. I remember the moment when in Abuja, they say you may now wear your wig. I actually did cry. It's emotional.
At the Kotoba?
Yes, at the Kotoba. You're looking, because the moment that all the hard work you've done for 5 to 6.
They'll be holding their wig. Then they will now announce.
You may now wear your wig. And then as you wear your wig, it's like you're being officially welcomed into the bar. So
very symbolic.
It's mixed reactions, really.
I was there with my son. What is so?
Congratulations, Daddy lawyer.
You're a very proud father.
Okay.
I have 2 lawyers.
I know, Daddy lawyers. We've come to the end of the show today. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back again tomorrow. But as we wrap up, I want to give a shout out to one of our guests, a young girl who's making mark a mark incredibly in the entertainment world and also an inspiration to many other young girls. Her name is Pink Sax Girl, and it's her birthday. So happy birthday to you from all of us here on Breakfast Central at News Central. Wish you many years of being the absolute incredible gem that you are. And this is how we wrap up today. We'll see you again tomorrow. I am Olive Emodi.
And I'm Benga Borough. I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.